Hello and welcome back to Lately Fashionable. I am Chelsea Souter and I finished my year of dressing vintage 2 months ago, and I'm finally doing my big wrap-up video for the entire year. I do not have the big whiteboard for you this time, and I also do not have my garment rack full of garments. I've already done everything that I need those items for, but I still have my big spreadsheet. We're going to go through it a little bit, and I have a PowerPoint presentation for you with some pie charts, which is very exciting. And finally, we are going to break down each outfit month by month and go through how many ensembles I got out of each one. I did have to finally stop adding things and tweaking things because this video was never going to get made. So if there's anything I didn't cover in this video, please put it in the comments, and if there are enough unanswered questions, I will do a part 2. So to start, here is my spreadsheet, which you have seen multiple times in my monthly wrap-up, but we're going to scroll through the entire thing and see what we can see. So as you may recall, my year of dressing vintage started on my birthday, March 22nd of 2025. So I have the date along the left-hand column, of course, and you'll be able to see the months changing with the color coding that I have added. I really love color coding, as you can probably tell. For all of my garments, I tried my best to make the color of the cell match the color of the fabric, or of the shoes, or the hat, or the lipstick. So that's pretty self-explanatory. And then in the hair column, I just assigned colors kind of based on really just being able to keep track of how many of each hairstyle I did in a given month. If they were color-coded, I could count them easier, but we will come back to that. So let's quickly just scroll through, and you'll be able to tell by paying attention to the coat column what the weather was doing on any given day, because if it was cold, I was of course going to wear a coat, and if it was not, then I didn't. You will also note that the gloves column is empty for most of the year. It's actually going to remain empty until the final month of the year, because that's when I rediscovered my collection of vintage gloves and decided to start wearing them. So as we scroll, you'll see I kind of stopped wearing hats after a while too, as it got really hot. And then I did wear a few summer hats in the summer months. Also stopped wearing stockings. Also stopped wearing brooches for the most part. They do tend to need a heavier sweater or blouse to take the weight. You'll see gaps every once in a while where I don't have a lipstick mentioned. That's usually either a day where I spent the entire day traveling, like these 2 days here and these 2 days here, or I was sick and did not actually get out of bed and definitely didn't do hair and makeup. So continuing on down, we're definitely in the hotter months now. Did have a few summer hats, as you can see. Started to remember to wear my brooches again. Now we're in September, it's starting to cool off. Starting to wear sweaters. This was actually a shawl. Still not wearing stockings though. Here we go. Now in October, we see the stockings return. We see the swing coat return. Now we're into November. I had some more traveling around Thanksgiving. And, oh yes, and it's starting to get cold enough for the real winter coat. This was a trip to Iowa, so it was cold, but then I was also just indoors or in a car, so I didn't actually really wear the coat. And then pretty much always wearing the coat through December. Stockings every day. Here was the 12 days of Christmas, where I wore a different brooch every day for 12 days. That was a lot of fun. And then kind of stopped wearing them. And then picked it up again just for fun. February, then I made this wool cape and started wearing that on days when I didn't feel like wearing the big princess coat, but I still needed something really quite warm. And in early March, finally it started getting warm enough again to start wearing the swing coat or no coat. And finally, the last month of the year, month of gloves. I did my best to wear every pair of gloves that I had, except for I think 2 or 3 pairs that I decided were not in a condition that I should be wearing them in. But I really enjoyed the month of gloves. It was a good time. Just scroll back up for a sec to talk about the month of dresses. Wore a dress every day. A couple times I wore a blouse, but only ever under my jumper dress. And I guess once under a different dress. Forgot about that one. And I wore a lot of cardigans with those dresses to get unique ensembles. That was a really fun month. I enjoyed doing that a lot. So yeah, month of dresses, 12 days of brooches, and month of gloves. Those were the big challenges that I set for myself, in addition to the overall challenge of dressing vintage every day. Now I can show you my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so I put each category of garment, now this is only accounting for the garments that I have made, none of the thrifted or swapped garments. And I'm a little annoyed that I didn't think to put the chart in order from most worn to least worn. They're in the order that I put them in the spreadsheet. So it starts with all the cotton, goes to linen, even though this dress isn't really linen. I called it that in the spreadsheet and I just never changed it. Rayon, coming back around. Both of these are polyester. I thought this one was rayon at first, but that's okay. And then the wool and the silk. And then this is just the last one that I added. It's actually cotton. So it should go with all the other cotton ones, but like I said, I tried to, as best I could, match the main garment color in my pie slices. So we can see from this that my 2 favorite dresses were the purple and pink rayon wrap dress, called it a house dress, mainly just because it's so comfy, and the red daisies rayon house dress that I had made back in 2017, followed closely by the black floral drawstring dress. So the theme is, these are the 3 most comfortable dresses in the entire wardrobe. This one is also up there, the cotton sundress, but it can really only be worn in the summer. And this one too, very much a summer dress. Sometimes I can add a cardigan to it and extend the wear. My wool jumper dress also got a lot. And the wool long sleeve dress really got a significant chunk of the wear, especially accounting for the fact that it was one of the last things that I made. It is tied with the rayon day dress, which also is really a summer dress. It's funny, these are opposite on the wheel because this was the winter dress, this was the summer dress. This purple cotton day dress would be a lot higher if I had made it earlier, because I really do love it a lot. All right, moving on, we have blouses. I had to break up these 4. The 2 teal were right next to each other, and the 2 gray were right next to each other, but then you couldn't tell where one ended and the other began, so I have them broken up that way. I have 2 clear favorite blouses. The scoop neck blouse, which I am wearing today, and the bishop sleeve blouse, which I can really only wear in the winter. Spring and fall a little bit, but it's quite warm. It's long sleeved and it's also a polyester, so not very breathable. But these 2 rayon blouses I really love. I wear those a lot. This long sleeve mint green blouse I also really enjoy and has gotten a lot more wear since I made some alterations to it to make it just a little bit more wearable. Then we have the teal button-down blouse, very much a summer blouse, but does get a lot of wear in the summer. And the short sleeve mint rayon blouse. I did make this one a slightly different color in the pie chart because it has a contrast fabric added to it, so when they're next to each other they don't really look like the same fabric. This purple keyhole bows blouse would definitely have a bigger slice of the pie if I had made it earlier in the summer. Could have gotten more wear out of it, but then of course I had to put it away for the winter, and the year ended once again in March. Didn't have a chance to wear it again, but I'll talk about that one more later. Okay, now this one shows really well how I have just a ton of blue skirts and a couple of green and teal ones mixed in. And overwhelmingly, I wear the blue ones the most. The plaid circle skirt is definitely the favorite. I wasn't sure which of these two would win. I'm wearing the applique skirt today and I do love it. But I think the plaid one is just slightly more comfortable, especially in the winter, because it's just like wrapping up in a big blanket. The two next most worn are the Bright Daisies gathered skirt in the summer and the A-line hybrid skirt, mostly in the winter. Honorable mention goes to the green wool skirt. I really love that one a lot. Okay. Now these pie charts are going to be a little bit misleading because, of course, I mostly wear dresses, blouses, and skirts. This pie chart does not represent the whole year, just a very small portion of it. But of the times that I wore trousers, the brown ones were the most worn. And then the rayon ones, the teal, I'm surprised actually. I didn't wear them as much as I thought I did. But I do remember I lost them for some time. They were in my mending basket. I think one of the snaps had come off and I just never got around to replacing it. Now this one is very misleading because I only have the one vest. I've only finished one vest. I only wore one vest the entire year of dressing vintage, even though I had plans to make two more and never got around to making them. So I just put them in with the jackets, and I only have these two jackets, the linen bolero and then the cotton suit jacket. So honestly, this probably shouldn't be put together as a pie chart, but that's how I did it. Anyway, moving on to coats. This accounts for the winter months and all the times that I wore coats. I'm a little surprised that the princess coat got more wear than the swing coat. I thought the swing coat was going to be my number one most worn garment of the entire year, but it's not. I wore the princess coat more. And the wool cape actually got a sizable chunk because I did wear it for pretty much a month straight. It just became my go-to outerwear garment pretty much as soon as I made it because I was kind of getting tired of throwing the princess coat on every time I needed to leave the house. It's kind of a lot. Okay, now hairstyles. You can see that by far I wore my hair down and curly, just like I am today. That's just my go-to vintage style. It requires the least amount of effort if I have remembered to put my hair in a wet set the night before. Wasn't always the case. And then on days when my front hair was bothering me and I didn't want it around my face, I would just twist it back on either side and pin it, and I counted that as a different hairstyle. Pin curls, these are the days when I washed my hair in the morning and needed to wear the wet set all day long so they would dry, or I was too tired or sick, and or I was traveling. Those are days when I just had a kerchief over my pin curls. The Gibson tuck is a pretty sizable portion of the year. It's pretty quick and it works whether my hair is curled or not, and the Gibson roll is a variation on that. Milkmaid braids, I probably would have worn that style more if I hadn't cut my hair short last summer, but I do need a certain length of hair to be able to get braids that can cover the crown of my head. Sometimes I was lazy and just did low twisted pigtails. I thought that was a pretty cute style, actually. Sometimes I was really lazy and just wore a snood. That's another style that can work whether my hair is curled or not. Sometimes it can save a bad wet set. And then the rest of these just got smaller and smaller proportions. Some of these styles in here were too small of a percentage for the pie chart to actually put the label on them, but that's okay. Hats, yes. So looking at this at a glance, you can easily tell my favorite hat. It is Giselle, my bright blue beret. And I only had her for half the year, so I wore her a lot. Let's see, next most worn, is that Daisy? See, it would have helped to have them in descending order. Oh no, Vivian. All right, and then Daisy. Those are both some really good versatile hats. You can see I have a lot of black hats. Some of them, when they're right next to each other, I had to make one gray and one black just so that you'd be able to see the pie slices, but they're all actually black. I only have a couple of brown hats. I should probably fix that. I have several red. There are actually more red hats than I thought. A couple purple, some more navy blue ones, and a couple green. I have a pretty good variety of hats, actually. I've been working on collecting them. Okay, and then we have lipstick colors. These are all shades of Besame lipstick because that's the only one that I wear. Now clearly, Red Hot Red was my go-to for daily wear, with Red Velvet being a very close second. I think I started wearing Red Hot Red almost every day after doing the dressing vintage thing for a couple of months because it just feels the most vintage to me out of all of the colors I have. Victory Red is also up there, but it skews a little bit pink on me, so it doesn't give quite as quintessentially vintage a look as the Red Hot Red. And Red Velvet is the color I wear when I want to feel just extra fancy, I guess. It's actually my favorite out of all the colors, and I'm wearing it today. Dusty Rose is also a really, really good one. I would wear that on days when I wanted a vintage but subtle look. There's nothing subtle about Red Hot Red, or Victory Red, or Red Velvet. But Dusty Rose is subtle. It's a dark pink, but it feels vintage. And then most of these up here don't feel as vintage as the true reds, or even the Dusty Rose. But I really love the shade Maleficent. I love the way it looks on me. And anytime I was wearing anything that had a pink or purple or fuchsia tone to it, I wanted Maleficent for just a fun pop of color. Sleeping Beauty is also a beautiful color. Both Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent were limited edition colors that are no longer available, sadly. But Sleeping Beauty, to me, looks just like I'm not wearing lipstick. It looks like my natural shade of pink lips, and so I love it for that reason. Carmine I also really love. It's an orange that I like. I really don't care for orange as a color in most situations, but I specifically bought it to wear with my vintage Dr. Beverly Crusher cosplay because it's very similar to the orangey peachy lipstick that the character wears in the show. And while it is a vintage shade, it's much more in the 70s and 80s tail end of vintage for me. And most of my wardrobe, as you know, is 40s, a little bit of 50s. So I tend to stick to the bright and dark reds. Okay, that's the end of my slideshow. Wow. But I still have more to talk about. So we're going to go to Canva, where I have another slideshow for you. So this presentation is all about each individual garment in chronological order of when I made them. But I have only done the garments that I started making in 2024. I don't have pages in this slideshow for all of the ones I made in 2016, 2017, 2018, or 2020. So we're going to start with my favorite navy applique skirt. So you will see on each page I have the pattern or patterns I used to make the garment and what type of fabric it was. Sometimes I say where the fabric came from. Like in this case, it was a petticoat I bought from Colonial Williamsburg when they had a costume sale. And it's pretty self-explanatory. I've got the months in columns, showing how many times I wore it in each month, and then the total number of times I wore it, and how many unique ensembles I got from that particular garment. As a reminder, this is starting in March, so it's March to April, April to May, May to June, June, July. So you will see in the middle will be summer months, and then it gets back into winter. And you can definitely tell some of these garments which season it goes to based on the spread of the number of wears. Moving on to the light blue wool skirt. This one I made from vintage wool, which was originally in my grandma's sewing stash. Wore this one 8 times, 7 unique ensembles. Next is my one and only vest. Clearly I need to make more. I wore it a couple times in the beginning, then it was summer, didn't really want to wear a wool vest. You can see it got warm again. The teal trousers, like I said, after month 6, they were in my mending basket for several months, and I forgot about them. I did find them again, but I didn't actually wear them at the end of the year, but that's okay. Now the green wool skirt. This was another petticoat project. You'll see several of those as we go. Didn't really wear it in the hottest summer months. Even though it's a very lightweight wool, I can wear it in the summer, but I just had other, brighter and more summery looking garments to wear. This teal blouse, I did wear quite a bit in the summer, as you can see. Now the other teal blouse, made from the same fabric, I stopped wearing after month 3 because it was wearing out and needed to be retired, unfortunately. Wow, I really stopped wearing the brick red trousers after the middle of the year. I think those were also in the mending basket for a while. I have since pulled them out again, but I don't think I've worn them since. The brown trousers were pretty consistent. Just about once a month I was like, let's wear some pants. And those were the go-to. They do go with like everything. As does the scoop neck blouse, actually. The color's neutral, so it really goes with everything in my wardrobe. It's pretty great. This mint rayon blouse, I initially planned to wear it with both skirts and pants, but then it was really hard to keep it tucked into the waistband, so I added a skirt to the blouse to make it basically a dress, but not one that I wear on its own. I always wear a skirt over it. So the skirt that it's attached to is really just keeping it in place. This dress got a lot of wear in the summer, then it got too cold, then I wore it one more time in the last month when it finally got warm again. Oh my goodness, this skirt got so much wear, especially in the hotter months. I love how many colors it has and how I can kind of pull out the teal or the purple or sometimes the pink. I don't actually have anything pink that I wear it with yet, but that will change. All right, the black floral dress. This one we saw in my pie chart got a lot of wears because it's super comfortable. And I did manage to get 12 unique ensembles from it. That's pretty impressive for a dress. But because it is a black dress, I can just wear any color I want with it, so I ended up adding a lot of different colored cardigans. And sometimes I wore it under a skirt or even under my jumper dress, just for a different look. We have another very neutral blouse that goes with everything. Didn't wear it for most of the summer, and then it was out of commission for an entire month because the washing machine ate it. But I rescued it, mended it, and have returned it to rotation. This is the dress in the pie chart that says it's made of linen. It's not. It's something synthetic, but I didn't know that at the time. I only wore it once as a dress the entire year. And then I realized it wasn't good as a dress, at least on me. Wore it twice as a swimsuit cover-up. It works really well for that. And every other time I've worn it as a blouse with a skirt over it. And I like that so much better. It's kind of crazy. Okay, then we have the plaid circle skirt, which I wore several times in the first month when it was still cool enough. And then it got hot, did not wear it again until like October into November. And then I went ham. Because I missed it. It's such a great skirt. It does have a limited range of colors I can wear with it, pretty much just black, white, blue, gray, and only that specific shade of blue, which I only have the one top and this one jacket that are the same shade of blue. So even though I wore it 31 times, I only got 14 unique ensembles. But that's okay. It's still a great skirt. Cream bishop sleeve blouse. You can see I really love it, but not in the summer. And for the coat, obviously I don't have a picture of every time I wore it. I wish I did. That would be amazing. I actually had to reuse this picture because I didn't have a picture of me in front of the fireplace for each month. So I just have the number of times I wore it in that month. And overall it was 50 wears. This one I only wore twice. I love it, but it's kind of a lot. I feel weird wearing it in public. It's so much shoulders. It does feel a little costumey because I did make it as a Dr. Beverly Crusher vintage cosplay. But that's okay. The pencil skirt, to go with that jacket, I did wear several times, at least in the first half of the year, and then I just forgot about it. Oh well. The black skirt, a little bit more evenly spread out over the year, not as many wears, but 6 unique ensembles for 6 wears. That's pretty good. And then the blue swing coat, not quite as many wears as the princess coat. And once again, I don't have a unique picture of every time I wore it, but that's okay. I do love this gown, but I have limited opportunities to wear it in my daily life. It's a special occasion gown. I wore it for my birthday party, I wore it for my anniversary, and I wore it for my birthday again. Now the jumper dress, this one gets a lot of wear. There are a couple months here where I would have worn it, but I had spilled something on it and I had to wash it by hand, so it just sat in my laundry room for a while before I got to it. This bolero jacket I wore 7 times and got 7 unique ensembles, so that's impressive. But really only in the summer. Ah yes, my house coat. This one I did wear quite a few times, but since it's a house coat, it really only counts as 1 unique ensemble. This is my go-to I'm sick or I don't feel like doing anything today outfit. Oh, I love this dress. I love this dress. You can see how much I've worn it. I kind of stopped wearing it in the coldest months, but several times I did wear it with a cardigan, so that does extend the wearability into the colder months. This one's very much a summer top. VSPC stands for Vintage Sewing Pattern Company. You'll see a few of those coming up that I used. This is another good summer top. Once again, another summer top, another Vintage Sewing Pattern Company. And I definitely would have worn it more if it hadn't gotten cold and then didn't really warm up enough again to wear it before the year was over. Oh, this dress I really love. Wore it a lot in the summer. Started wearing it in the winter with a nice cardigan. This one's very much a summer dress. Summer, summer, summer. The one hot day in March. The sarong, only wore it once with the swimsuit that I no longer have, sadly. But that's okay because it wasn't actually a vintage swimsuit in the first place, and I really made the sarong in order to make it look more vintage. And I have since gotten a new red swimsuit, so it will get more wear. Oh, this dress I do love, and I need to wear it more. Now this skirt, I like it in concept, but I don't reach for it You can clearly see, only wore it twice. I have so many other skirts that I like more. I think I'm going to turn it into a blouse. I think I'll wear it more as a blouse. And it will be a little bit more Samantha referential if I do. This is another great dress. Very comfortable. Can wear a lot of different cardigans with it. Okay, this top I made like at the end of summer. Wore it exactly twice and then had to put it away because this was the month of dresses. I couldn't wear it then because I was only wearing dresses and it didn't go with my jumper dress. And then it didn't get warm enough to wear it again. But I'm wearing it now. It's warm enough now. It's gonna get a lot of wear this summer. This purple gathered dress, like I said, I would have gotten a lot more wear out of it if I'd made it earlier in the year. But I am still wearing it very frequently because I love it a lot. And I also love this red wool dress. A nice thing about this one is because it's wool, I don't have to wash it every time I wear it. So it doesn't have to go through the laundry in order to get back into my closet. That gives me more opportunities to wear it, and I wore it all winter. It was great. Oh, this blue skirt. I love this shade of blue. And if you've seen my sewing plans video, you know I have many more garments planned in this shade of blue in the coming months. So you will be seeing a lot more of it. Okay, this blouse, I really wanted to like it, and I really didn't. I tried it with 3 different skirts and with my jumper dress. It's okay. Like, it's fine. But it's really not my color scheme, unfortunately. But hold that thought, because we'll come back to it. Made the cape, started wearing it a bunch. Pretty much half of this month I wore this cape. Oh, I love it. So this dress, this picture is just me modeling it as I got it. It was too big in the waist, and I also wanted it longer, so I added this contrast midriff piece and also took it in at the sides. So now it fits me, it's longer, and I love it. And because it's a plaid, I can wear it with different sweaters to pull out different colors, which is always fun. This blouse I have worn a bunch since my year of dressing vintage ended. So if I had continued tracking it, there would be a ton of wears on this side of the screen. This one, I only wore twice. It's fine. Probably not going to wear it a lot. And this skirt, I finished just before the end of the year of dressing vintage, and I didn't even wear it one single time. But that's okay, because I am going to combine it with the blouse. Where is it? This one. Because it was originally a dress pattern. I just made it as a blouse, thinking I would like it better. But having worn it with several different skirts, I actually like it best with the skirt made from the matching fabric. So I'm going to combine it, make it a dress, and I can still wear any of these skirts or the jumper dress over it as a dress, and I think I will wear it more that way. Okay. I'm exhausted. So I hope that was interesting. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. I needed to stop tweaking this and actually film the video, or I would just never get it done. And that was my year of dressing vintage. It was a lot of fun. Let's see. What did I learn? I learned that I feel best when I am fully dressed up, hair and makeup included. I feel my most authentic self, and that's why I was doing the year of dressing vintage in the first place, because I feel like this style really suits me in spirit, and it makes me happy whenever I look in the mirror, so there's that. I did get a lot of comments when I was out in public, not as many as I expected, honestly, but several people said I looked like I'd stepped out of a movie or a time machine, words to that effect, which is always fun. I was always very gratified when somebody correctly guessed the decade I was going for. And I also noticed I got the comment, "I love your outfit," most often when I was wearing a hat. If I wasn't wearing a hat, people would comment, I like your blouse or your skirt or your dress, but if I was wearing a hat, it was I like your outfit. I don't know, I just found that interesting. I think I have built up a reputation as that vintage lady around town, which makes me happy. That's what I was going for. And it's been 2 months now, like I said, so I've had opportunity to see if I'm going to continue doing this. And I think it's going to be about 50-50. I'm going to wear vintage when I feel like getting all the way dressed up. And when I don't, I will wear something a little bit more modern, a little bit more casual. Probably not going to go for sweatpants, but might go for a comfy knit dress instead. And I'm probably also going to start incorporating more of my Edwardian costumes into my regular wardrobe, which I was already doing before this year. And I also have some plans for some modern new garments that I want to make, some of which I've been putting off until the year of dressing vintage was over because I didn't want to make something that I wasn't able to immediately wear. I have found that I love making things that I wear in my everyday life. I love it. For so many years of my sewing journey, I'd been really focusing on making a costume to wear to an event and then another costume to wear to another event, and just always working to a deadline for a specific thing I wanted for a specific moment in time. So shifting my focus back to making clothes that I want to wear every day has been really, really satisfying and almost relaxing. And it has filled my wardrobe with garments that fit me and that I love. So there's like no downsides here. So I will continue to make garments that I want to wear every single day, and I'll be working on larger historical costume projects more sporadically. My priorities have definitely shifted, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's all I have for you today. It was probably a lot. I'm gonna have to go edit this down. I've been talking for pretty much an hour straight, so I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but I hope you enjoy. If you did, as always, feel free to give me a like, and if you want to see more, definitely subscribe. I'll be sewing more vintage, more modern, and some more historical coming soon. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I was wondering how soon my battery was going to run out. Okay. Let's try that without the squeak. Hello! Ah, that's awkward. Let's make you full screen? Nope, not sleep. Sleep is not what I meant. That's not true at all. Ignore everything I just said.